Sweden. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Sandra Rose in Tampa, Florida.
Welcome, Sandra Rose. Welcome to the call.
Good morning.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're giving about another 15, 20 seconds. We'll see who's going to get the honors of the last one to jump on board. And we are going to launch this Freedom Friday Go Diamond Big Day Focus Call.
Good morning, it's Don Trini from Swanee, Georgia.
Oh, my friend, Paul, and you got the honors, Don. So, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Lovato out of Denver, Colorado, really excited about our topic that I wanted to share with you today. Here we are at a brand new, horizon, if you want to call it that, just a whole new endeavor of the whole new year called 2013. And, we've got so many people talking about all the new things that we want to become, all the things that we want to do, all the new things we want to have, okay? And, it's a process of getting there. And one of the key things I wanted to talk about today is how do you get there? How do you create that bridge that spans the chasm between where you are today versus, the reality that you want to create tomorrow? And so, certainly we have so many people talking about New Year's resolutions, right? And as we all know, it fits right into our business, of what we're doing here in that we provide so many solutions to people with one of the most, sought after New Year's resolution, and that is to improve your health, and even with more specificity, how to lose some of them holiday pounds, right? And so, certainly New Year's resolutions are very, very important part of the mindset of much of society today. But I just want to go ahead and submit something to you that may be something to consider. And I think there's a huge difference. And I posted something on Facebook about that. And instead of saying New Year's resolutions, it had resolutions, crossed out with an X, and underneath it had goals. And so I want to submit to you the huge difference between a New Year's resolution and a New Year's goal. And we're going to talk about that specificity of how to go ahead and create something as generic, something as broad as a resolution into a New Year's goal that has some specificity to it, has a timeline on it, and it's truly believable. And, that's one of the key things about a goal is that it's got to be truly believable because we cannot trick the human mind. So welcome to the Go Diamond Focus Call, and it's a brand new year. As you can hear, we have people calling in from coast to coast, border to border, and it's just a wonderful time to be here at Zija International. Certainly, there are going to be some great fortunes that are actually created in 2013, and it's going to happen to those people that have a really specific vision for how to get there, okay? And so that's one of the key words that we're going to hear several times today, and that is specificity, and to have the opportunity to go ahead and share what your dreams are. I remember the first time I got into this industry, well over 15 years ago on a part-time basis, and started going to the seminars and, traveling across the country, and it was so much fun, and the social, it made me feel so good, quite honestly, and very different from my cellular biology profession, quite frankly, but it was because in that profession, it was, you were looking at, really, literally millions and millions of cells on a daily basis, weekly basis, for sure. And, boy, you got called on the carpet if you missed one, okay? And rightfully so, because it affected people's lives in regards to their health. But here, in this industry, as I was going to these, personal development seminars, these industry events, it began to make me feel really good about myself. And that's part of what attracts people to this business. So I want to talk about, instead of the adage that we've heard so many times, is fake it till you make it. Boy, I remember the first time I heard that, it just rubbed me wrong. It just didn't do me well, as they say. And so I was searching for an alternative there. And I'm not sure where it came from. I've said it more than 3 times, so I'm owning this. And so I always called it faith it, F-A-I-T-H. Faith it till you make it. And what that meant is it helped build that bridge for me as I was going from, the mindset of a cellular biologist into the mindset of an entrepreneur. I didn't know how to get there, And but one of the things that I did know is I didn't know how to get there on my own. And so one of the key things we're going to talk about today is how to go ahead and take what we have right now as we have this focus call, as we call it, and I love that acronym, fixed on one course until successful. Okay, fixed on one course until successful, and that's what we want to do. We want to focus on the right things, okay? Because one of the areas that I covered last time on the Freedom Focus on the Freedom Friday call is that thoughts become things. And I made the distinguishing comment that thoughts are not things; things become things. And the point that I was making is that it's a process of nurturing those thoughts that actually create, the outcomes of things in our lives. In other words, the defined realities that we have in our life, it takes a process. It takes time. You literally have to water it, okay? And what I want to ask you today, all across the country, as we heard people calling in, and even internationally, is that what thoughts are you watering today? What is the nurturing that you are actually, what is the energy that you're putting into the thoughts? What I call your seed corn, okay? There's certainly the seed corn of your tomorrows is going to be your thoughts today. And, I was going through some personal development yesterday, rereading a book I read, years ago called The Passion Test, okay? Incredible book, by the way. And I've got it both in written and audio form. And one of the things that they talked about there is that, how we can focus on the wrong things. And so I just want to kind of just create a contrast for you, is that, many times as we're dealing with this law of the universe, thoughts become things, okay? And that is that we can focus on the wrong things and have the wrong motives, and our motive can be out of fear, okay? And I really believe that that's something that many times we don't want to create an outcome in our lives. And in the Passion Test, they talked about this great little contrast, is the fear is focused on an outcome with specificity on what we don't want. I'm going to say that again. Fear is focused on an outcome with specificity you don't want. Okay? Now, faith, this is the definition of success in the book, and that is faith is focused on outcome with specificity you do want. Now, both of those laws or principles work. The only question we have today is, what are we feeding and what are we nurturing with our thoughts, okay? What are we creating with the outcomes? Are we putting nurturing and focus and really energy into the faith that we have for tomorrow, or are we putting it into the fear, okay? And so I just encourage us, of course, all across Zija International, we've got champions like yourselves, that we are actually putting it into faith, okay? And so I just want to really go ahead and draw out that contrast, that faith is focused on outcome with specificity you do want. Remember, because we've heard this how many times? Millions, maybe. And that is the brain, whatever the brain gets the mind or the brain to conceive and believe, it can achieve. See, but we must really, really believe. And that's the part of the fact that's a part of we're nurturing thoughts that create outcomes we want. So let us focus on the things that we want to create. And I think one of the best ways to do it this time of year, as we've gone through this process of everybody having New Year's resolutions, I encourage us to have some specificity where we take it from a resolution into a goal. And I think one of the greatest tools that we could ever develop, especially if we do it early in a defining moment. See, this is the fourth day of the year, but we can have a defining moment any day of the year. We just choose for it to be on January 1 because of the fact that, it's a new calendar. But the reality is we can do it anytime we want. And I think one of the greatest tools that is so often talked about, so often referred to, but very, very infrequently done, and that is our dream board. And that's what I wanted to spend a little bit of time on today, is that your dream board, or as they talked about it in, the book, The Passion Test, they talked about it in a dream mirror form, a dream mirror where you can actually see yourself in between the different affirmations, in between the pictures, in between the comments of the charities that you want to be involved in, the church service that you'd love to do, maybe the community service that you're just longing to be with, maybe to be a scoutmaster, to work with the children in the community along with your own children. How about to actually author a book, whatever the case might be, having that specificity on your dream board, dream mirror, if you will, is absolutely powerful, because whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And, they talked about in the book how, there's just numerous examples of how people have built their dream boards, and sometimes, you build your dream board and you put it away. And it's just been so amazing how many times in books over the years that I've read where people will pull out their dream board because they've got a new one. They'll pull out a dream board maybe from 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and lo and behold, there is a picture of the house that they're living in. And that is the power of specificity. There is the picture of what it is that they had faith in all those years that they were feeding with affirmations. And so I just really encourage you, to take some time to go ahead and allow your dream board to be an expression. And this is another part. This is actually the central part of the book, The Passion Test. Is let your dream board be your pull power, because your passion is the pull power to get you from being stuck. And if you haven't been stuck in this industry as an entrepreneur, if you haven't had a few potholes, that's okay. Don't worry about it. You will. Okay. But the question is, what is your passion going to do to go ahead and pull you out of that? And that passion is expressed, I believe, in a dream board that absolutely creates an image inside of your mind that you know and you see yourself in that, especially if it's a dream mirror, dream board, type of circumstance where you can see yourself in that. You will be amazed at the specificity that your brain will be drawn to. And so I just really encourage you to take some time. One of the key things that happens this time of year is people actually, and many teams have done it. I know some of the San Francisco Bay Area teams have already done that, where they've already had some dream board sessions, okay? And in the latter part of December, as they were having holiday parties, and they invited, the team together. They had a dream board. You know what? If you've ever been to a dream board session, it is one of the most exhilarating things that you can do. To see people's eyes lit up, to see people's hope restored, to see people in unity, birds of a feather flock together, and to see that in one room and to feel that energy, it's just amazing what that does. And here I remember my first dream board session I went to in San Jose. Oh my goodness, it was a tremendous event for me that changed Paul Lovato. And I encourage you to take your own dream board with you, to go and schedule dream board sessions, to call your plugged-in upline and say, you know what, this, for example, today's focus call, it's designed to inspire you, to breathe life into you, and then for you to take action. And this is what takes people from being a professional note taker into being a professional networker, because you're doing the work. You're plugging into your upline. You're plugging into your mentors and your coaches, and you're asking questions. See, at the end of these Go Diamond focus calls, there should be an opportunity for an exchange with your plugged-in upline, because you gained a nugget, and you haven't defined that nugget. So, you don't get a gold nugget. You don't get a diamond in its refined state in the mind. You have to process it. And that's the process that what I'm speaking about in the form of coaching, is you get an idea, get a concept on your dream board, and then you should be communicating with your upline about defining it, polishing it. And so that's a little bit of what I wanted to share today, and it's just my privilege now to go ahead and bring on a very dear friend of mine. I mean, Willie Grove and I have been just kindred from the very moment we met over the phone, and certainly was the case out in Salt Lake City when we got to spend time together. And Willie, it was just a privilege to find out that we were on the same plane together after the convention, and we were both high as a kite. And so, Willie, I just wanted to bring you on the line, and I kind of set the context. Would love to have your feedback. But take as much time as you need as we need to close out the call, or just a few moments, whatever you feel prepared to do, Willie. So come on the line, Willie, and love to get your insights.
Paul, thanks very much, and again, thanks for having me on the call with you, and for everything you do. And yeah, the higher than a kite, we were probably at least 30,000 feet in the air, so that's a pretty good explanation of our ride back home. You know what? 3 things kind of stood out. I can't improve on your thoughts and what you shared with the folks today, but as I think about the new year, it is one of my favorite times of the year, because it just seems like you've got a new start, or you've got a new beginning, and everything we do, whether it's in our business, personal life, or whatever, it's just a time to evaluate where we've been, and a time to just, and I like the comparison between resolutions and goals, because a resolution is just something that I resolved to do or not to do. Not as strong as setting a goal and putting something on your dream board and working toward that goal. So I do like that also. And I look at my business from the standpoint of, I've been in the medical business for 30 years. It's not enough for me to list the things that the surveyors want to see. See, I have to, every 3 years, I have to go through a process called accreditation. And accreditation drives me nuts. Last year was the 3rd year. I was driven nuts trying to get everything, all the T's crossed, all the I's dotted, everything in line for a surveyor that comes in, and he wants to see everything. I mean, he wants to see that I've done background checks on my employees. He wants to see it all. I love what I do, but you also mentioned the term outcomes. See, it's not enough that we set goals. Everybody on this line's a leader. Everybody is somebody that desires to not only build an organization, but to provide the leadership and to make ourselves better, to stay ahead of our people. And that's a key to what we do. But at the same time, we can write down all the goals we want. We can actually, when a surveyor comes into my medical business and they start going through things, and I have listed in a patient's file that they called in and their bed had broke, that bed, it's not enough that I documented that I went out and repaired it. It's not enough that I documented that it was acknowledged. I have to show outcomes. I have to show how many beds were broke. I have to show what we're going to do to remedy the situation. And in the process of bringing that over to our Zija business, we need to not only set goals. It's not enough to have those goals on the dream board. It's not enough to share that with our upline and our downline or whatever. Where's the outcomes? There's got to be consequences sometimes to not reaching certain goals. And those consequences is, we got to work harder, because I'm telling you, we can go to the end of 2013 right now, and we're going to look back and we're going to say, what did we do? And I shared even yesterday the fact that, most 80 and 90-year-olds at the end of their life, the one consuming thought that they share when they're interviewed is they wished they would have taken more risk in their life. And you know what? That may be something somebody's on the line today. Somebody needs to step out and take more risk. And we need to just establish this year as the turning point. So, Paul, again, I can't improve on what you shared. It kind of hit me in a different way, especially with the outcomes. There's got to be results, and that is what we need to actually share. We set the goal on January 4th. This is when we reach the goal, and that is an outcome. This is the result. And again, I appreciate everything you do, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
So thank you, Willie, and appreciate you. And man, I like what you said. You know what? You're exactly right about the outcomes. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that's what Willie was referring to. Is it's something that is measurable, and that's the difference between something to resolve. And I love the way you constructed that, Willie. It's just something that you resolve to do in a resolution versus a goal. You know what? There's an outcome there that's going to be measurable. And that's what I encourage you to do, is to make yourself accountable to the most important person on the planet, and make yourself accountable to yourself. Okay? And that's why I believe that it's so important to share these goals with people that are like-minded, birds of a feather flock together, with the coaches that are going to guide you and sometimes hold you accountable to those goals. And it's okay if you don't perfectly hit all those goals. I love what Michael Jordan has said for years, and that is that the reason he hit so many shots in key moments is that he was prepared to learn from those moments that he failed at those shots. Okay, and that's part of the consequences that we talked about. So the outcomes is sometimes the great and the late Jim Rohn has put it this way: it's the proper setting of the sail, the adjustments to sail. We can't change our destiny today. Good Lord, it takes moments and moments that are just like a collage of moments that create a day, create a week, create a month. Those are collages of moments. But we can't change the destiny today. But my dear friends, we can change our direction. That's the setting of the sail that can be made today, January the 4th, that says, this is my day. And I can honestly tell you, I have those days in my life, in my journals, when I went to these events where decisions were made, and I cut away all the options, all the alternatives. I cut them away, which is the Latin term for decision comes from the surgical term, Latin term for incision. As the surgeon's knife cuts away the unwanted tissues, we have to make a decision and cut away those unwanted obstacles. And allow yourself to be engorged in that process as you say, I'm going to move from having it as be a mere resolve that I want to becoming a goal that I put on my vision board, and I put in my mirror, that I look at that and I see my face in that amidst these goals and affirmation that is going to be first person. and we're going to do training on this. Maybe some of the other trainers will do this in more detail. But affirmations must be first person. They must be about you, number one. Number two, they must be specific, okay? But must be specific about what your outcome is that you want. And number three, probably the most important part and the most overlooked part of an affirmation that people don't get, and I hope you get this, affirmations must be believable. Don't create an affirmation that I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of January 2013. Create an affirmation that's believable, that I'm going to put, $5,000 into my child's, college fund. That I'm going to go ahead and, here's a great one. I'm going to go ahead and get my down payment for my Mercedes-Benz with our Team Benz luxury car program. Make that affirmation, and especially with the Mercedes-Benz example, that you can actually put a date on that. It feels great by March the 1st to be in my Mercedes-Benz and have that picture right up there, right next to the affirmation. I feel great being in my Mercedes-Benz on March the 1st. And you got your picture right there with you're standing right in front of the car, okay? Maybe even sitting in the car, okay? That's even better. But the point I want to leave you with is the specificity of what I want you to take from today's Go Diamond Daily Focus Call. And it is Freedom Friday. And so I wanted to really focus on the fact that Freedom Friday, as we wrap it up, is about activity that we are following up on. What is your vision? I've shared this multiple times on Freedom Friday. What is your vision for Freedom Friday? What is your concept of what Freedom Friday is all about? Is it about that, I have to make those calls? Or is it about I have the privilege to follow up with people that are in process on these incredible world-class products, and I get to share my story. I get to share one of my colleagues' stories. I get to invite them to a conference call. I get to send them a recorded straight talk call with Russ Bianchi. What is your vision for what Freedom Friday is for you and for your team? And I can honestly share with you from the bottom of my heart that those people, the thoughts become things. Those people that have a vision for Freedom Friday to be a culture in their business, and you literally have a level of energy every Friday that is just exhilarating because you've got people in the hunt, as we say. And I just encourage you to have that vision for Freedom Friday. And if you can be successful at this in 2013, your business will turn around because what we've got. I've got teams doing that right now, and it's exciting to see the volume. We've got Freedom Friday. It's accumulating, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And Freedom Friday, it's, you're getting people's exhilarating messages and your conversations. I made bronze, I made Builder 1000, I made silver, I made gold, okay? All those are wonderful conversations, and what happened is that they begin infecting their team with that excitement, okay? So I just leave you today on Freedom Friday, January the 4th, 2013, to go out and do good. Thank you, Mr. Willie Grove, for all that you do, for us here. Thank you so much for all the support you bring into the team. I look forward to your calls as well. I was on your last call that you did, and I took copious notes. And so, I just really encourage everybody, to say, I'm going to take action. I'm going to take some thoughts to create actions on what Mr. Grove has shared today, and myself, that you would be able to go and have an outcome in 2013 that is your breakout year. I was listening to the song, and I leave you with this, and go listen to it. Kelly Clarkson, one of the great stories. No surprise, she's a Texas gal, right? But and my point is that Kelly Clarkson won the original American Idol, and she's got an incredible song that's called Breakout, okay? And I encourage you, go listen to that and put yourself in those words. Envision that this is your year, that you didn't settle for mediocrity, because you broke out of your comfort zones, and that's a whole other training. But I encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, have some faith today and face it until you make it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines for any leaders that want to have any quick comments or any announcements of events that haven't been made thus far. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, okay, go right ahead. Go take it away.
This is Willie again. Just a quick announcement on January the 13th. We'll be having, I'll be making a trip down to Atlanta. We've got a great group of folks down there. It's going to be probably in the Stockbridge, McDonough area. We'll put that up on Zija events today. But we'll have a meeting. It's exciting because there's quite a few folks that are involved with the Autistic Association in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and went down last month and did an introductory presentation on the products. And we've seen great results with some of the children of the folks that tried the Zija products over the last 30 days. So we're going to do a follow-up meeting and some training. Several of those folks come in as distributors and really are excited about it. So one thing I am really pleased with is the fact that there's uniformity. And no matter, last night I had somebody call me from Dallas, Texas to close out a PDR and to explain some of the different ways to come into the business. Well, I'd never met the person, they're not even downline. And yet the uniformity of Zija University and all the tools that we have one common denominator, and it works. Thanks again, Paul.
Great point, Willie. Great point, sir. You bet. And I know that's going to be a knockout event. What a great cause, near and dear to my heart as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that for all you do. Anybody else on the moderator line want to go ahead and share very quickly? Any of the leaders? Okay, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and remind everybody of our Saturday Fast Start training call. This Saturday going to be done none other by the incredible double diamond Doug Street. Last week we had triple diamond Phil Jacobson, and if you missed that, it was probably the best conceptual training that I have heard in a long time about what this industry of direct sales, network marketing is all about. And so we've got some top quality trainers on these calls. It's been a pleasure to be a part of that. I look forward to hearing each and every one of you as you sign off. And I'm going to go down mute the lines. Take care. And congratulations to you in 2013. Years. Have a great rest of the day.
It's excellent. And good night, Mr. I look forward to the fast training call tomorrow as well.
Thank you for all your
Thank you.